Next News. Breaking news.
Take a look at the border map. One side of the street under JB Pritzker hits $4.27, $4.39, even $4.54 a gallon. Cross into Indiana, and the numbers crash to $3.09, $3.11, $3.21. That's the whole scam in one screenshot. While legacy media spent days shrieking that Donald Trump's Iran strike would torch working families forever, the national average just dropped to $3.79, down from $4.34 last month. Trump broke the panic cartel. Pritzker, JB Pritzker, kept his hand in your pocket. And now Trump wants an immediate drop towards $2.50. The question is simple. Who still stands between you and relief before July 4th? See, this matters because every family loading up the SUV for Independence Day feels the difference between $4.34 and $3.79 in cash. Not in theory. GasBuddy clocked it. More than 11 cents down in a week, more than 51 cents down in a month. See, that's not an accident. That's the payoff from Trump smashing the Iran hysteria machine that legacy media, foreign policy frauds, and Democrat operatives tried to weaponize against the country. They pushed fear. Trump pushed strength. Oil calmed, prices cracked lower. Now comes the second fight. President Trump is demanding an immediate move lower, even pointing to around $2.50 with the pre-Iran war benchmark sitting at $2.94. Treasury Secretary Bessent put retailers on notice with a line every driver should remember. Be good actors, because we're watching. Good. Watch hard. Because if crude dropped and stations still drag their feet, they are squeezing families on purpose. And in Illinois, Jelly Belly Pritzker adds his own layer of theft with the second highest gas tax in America. Trump is pushing down. Pritzker is jacking up. When families can spot a ripoff just by crossing from Calumet City into Hammond, they should also know the Medicare game runs the same scam. The Medicare confusion industrial complex buries seniors in noise, so they stay stuck. Chapter cuts through it. It's simple by design. One call, one advisor. They look at your doctors, look at your prescriptions, your whole situation, and tell you the truth with no propaganda, just facts. See, they work for you, not big insurance. If you're already on the right plan, they'll say so. If not, they can help you switch. Real clarity, not bureaucratic static, and it's free. It takes under 20 minutes. Call Chapter at the number on the screen right there, 910-728-4109. Last year, people who found new plans with Chapter saved an average of $1,100. So stop letting bureaucratic middlemen pick your pocket. Demand the savings. Now, one more detail before we get into the tweets, because this one stings. Scott Bessent did not just cheer the drop, he warned retailers to be good actors, especially during America's 250th anniversary, because we're watching. That means the Trump administration knows exactly what millions of drivers know. Wholesale markets can fall fast, but too many middlemen cling to the old higher price as long as they can. I'm going to pull up the tweets because everyone's seeing the same thing in real time. It pumps all over the country. New gas prices are dropping fast. GasBuddy reports the national average fallen 11 cents in just a week, 51 cents in the past month, making the current average $3.79. National average dropping fast. ABC has to admit prices are down, while Trump pushes stations to cut them even further.
Good morning, George. Gas prices are moving in the right direction ahead of the 4th of July. So the national average this morning is $3.79. That is down from $4.34 1 month ago, but we are still not at $2.94 where we were at the start of the Iran war. So President Trump is now demanding that gas stations lower their prices even more immediately, pointing to the fact that the oil market has defied expectations and is trading around its pre-war level. But there are a couple of reasons why gas prices can go up quickly quickly and then take time to come back down. One is that stations might have stocked up on fuel when it was at a higher price, so they need to cover those margins. And then there is the reality that the global supply of oil and gas right now is still very tight. We are seeing shipping pick up through the Strait of Hormuz, but analysts at the firm Kepler say that it's still only about half of the traffic there that it was before the start of the war, when oil, of course, moved freely through the strait. Guys.
So the report showed the prices falling, but Trump says the job's not finished. Next, Forbes lays out his demand for an immediate drop to $2.50 a gallon. Trump demands immediate drop in gas prices to $2.50. So Trump is calling for lower prices, and the pressure isn't coming from just him. Treasury Secretary Bissett sends the clear warning to gas retailers that we are watching.
We've got a chart of how quickly the prices went up and how they followed crude, and we're going to hold them accountable on the other side. President Trump talked about it the past week. He had a very powerful Truth Social yesterday. So I would encourage all the gasoline retailers. Some of them are owned by big oil. Some are independent. Some are international convenience chains. I would encourage them to be good actors, especially in the 250th anniversary, because we're watching.
We are watching. So he says retailers will be held accountable. Next, Interior Secretary Doug Burgum makes the red state case on energy and points to a simple truth that drivers can see at the pump.
Teddy Roosevelt Museum, you worked so hard as a governor and as an individual businessman to bring it to life. The president's going to go out there. How special is this?
It's going to be amazing. And, of course, the parallels between Theodore Roosevelt and President Trump just keep adding up and up and up between two people. TR was the president at the 125th, President Trump at the 250th. Both of them transformative people who really shaped not just the U.S., but shaped the world and the world order. And President Trump on the policies around energy. I mean, nothing short of the geopolitical center of energy shifting from the Middle East back to North America, back to the U.S. I mean, turning Venezuela, from a sanctioned adversary into a strategic ally in 45 minutes. I mean, who does that? President Trump. What's going on in Alaska? What's going on in the U.S. right now? It's great. So if anybody's driving for the 4th of July, a holiday, here's a tip. If you want to save over 50 cents on a gallon of gas, fill up in a red state. The average price in red states is 53 cents lower than it is in blue states. The blue states, and I say blue states, those are states controlled by state legislatures that have adopted policies of less energy subtraction as opposed to energy addition. President Trump, his energy policy laying the foundation for peace in the Middle East.
So Burgum saying that drivers can save more than 50 cents a gallon in red states. Now look at Illinois, where gubernatorial candidate Darren Bailey says Pritzker's tax machine is keeping prices painfully high. Because we have the second highest gas tax in America. Thanks again, JB. He was quote tweeting Pam Bella, "Why is gas in Illinois back up to $4.19? I filled up the tank in Indiana today at $2.97. Because we have the second highest gas tax in America." Let's see if we can pull up the map there. Here it is. $2.97. Thanks, JB. So the border map says it all. Illinois drivers are getting hammered while Indiana is dramatically cheaper just miles away. Next, Bailey rolls out his fix. Suspend the gas tax, repeal the hikes, and cut registration fees. Gas prices are finally dropping, but not in Illinois. We're paying second highest gas price tax in the country. A picture is worth 1,000 words. So after exposing the tax price gap, you can see, let's see if we can find, yeah, look at that. $4, across the border, $3. It's insane. So after exposing the price gap, Bailey moves from diagnosis to a plan. Up next, a three-step push to slash what Illinois drivers are paying. Suspend the gas tax for 6 months. Repeal every gas tax hike since 2019. Cut vehicle registration fees in half. That's the real plan to lower costs for drivers. Step 1, step 2, step 3. That's the message from the Bailey Del Mar campaign in Illinois, going head-to-head against JB Pritzker. So the moral verdict lands on that Illinois-Indiana border map like a sledgehammer. you can practically watch JB Pritzker rob drivers by zip code. In the same region, Illinois stations flash 427, 439, 454. A short hop away in Indiana, drivers see 309, 311, 321. So don't let any media hack bury that under jargon. Donald Trump cooled the oil panic after the Iran strike and shoved the national average down to 379. JB Pritzker still punishes drivers because Democrats treat gasoline like a tax farm. Trump fights through, pass savings through. Pritzker blocks relief at the border. That's not policy finesse, that's a choice made by a governor who sees your commute as his revenue stream. So take the win and keep the pressure on. Trump beat the experts again. He beat the fear dealers again. He beat the media line that swore decisive action abroad would hammer American families at home. Instead, the numbers moved his way. 379 nationally, down from 434, with more than 51 cents wiped out in a month. That is leadership with receipts. But do not let gas retailers slow walk the savings, and don't let Democrat tax addicts like JB Pritzker hide behind market excuses while Illinois drivers bankroll his machine. If crude is down, the price on the sign should drop immediately. If you live in a blue state tax trap, put that border map screenshot everywhere. Send it to friends. Drop your local pump price in the comments and make the gougers and the governors own it in public. Americans just watched Trump crush another lie. The country should make sure nobody memory holes this one. And I want to make sure that our news doesn't get memory holed, and that's why I set up this number. 844-840-4963. Thousands and thousands of patriots are already getting the news when YouTube decides to memory hole the content. All they're doing is texting the words raw feed to that number. They're on the inside track, getting one text message a night from me, and they're staying on the inside track of the news. I want to make sure you do too. And make sure you're racking up the wins and celebrating with us by going to the merch shelf below this video or shop.nextnewsnetwork.com.
The system controls information. Information control is power. I want you to see this. Truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now.